Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living. Thanks for being here with us on our fourth Wednesday of the month when we are talking about the mind body connection. I appreciate all of you who have shown up here in person, and I appreciate all of you that are joining us online. Thank you for being here with us tonight as we take a deep dive into healing our pain through our mind body connection. And so I thought I would share some information from a book that I read oh gosh, probably 15 years ago now. A friend of mine had had some chronic back pain, and she used this book to work through the issue around that, and actually got to relieve her chronic back pain. And as a byproduct of healing her back pain, she also healed her chronic fatigue syndrome, because fatigue is also something that's associated often with pain. And so the book was called Healing Our Back Pain, Healing Your Back Pain by Dr. John Sarno, Sarno. And he wrote this in the early 2000s. I think the edition I have is 2001. And he since has published 3 other books, so he's got a total of 4 books on the topic. But he theorized what he called a condition that was brought upon, a physical condition that was brought upon by our thinking about how we think about things, how we process things. He called it TMS, and I had to write it down, tension myositis syndrome, and it's also become known as tension myoneuro syndrome or mind-body syndrome. How we think about things affecting us and getting stuck in our bodies, and then creating these chronic conditions in there. Now, not all pain is from this kind of an issue. If you fall and break your leg, that's pain. That's not brought about by anything you were thinking, unless you were not thinking as you were walking and fell down. Or, as I just did a couple of weeks ago, I broke a tooth. There was no mind-body connection in that. I was feeling really good when I broke the tooth. Well, until I broke the tooth, I was feeling really good. So, there is pain, but there's also this chronic pain that we can't really find a lot of physical reasons for. We just hurt. I was diagnosed with lupus at 29, and lupus has a lot of symptoms that are like arthritis. So a lot of inflammation, joint pain, there were some other things that go along with it too, breathing and things like that. But I quickly learned that my thinking could make my experience of it better or worse. I first learned that it can make it worse. And it took me a while to associate that, but all of a sudden I started thinking, oh, I remember what happened. I felt those symptoms start, and then I thought in my mind, oh no, here we go. I'm going to have another flare-up. And guess what? I had another flare-up. And then it was also, I was thinking, because the pattern of it would be lasting 3 or 4 days, and I would also have that thought go through my mind, oh, I'm going to be sick for the next 3 or 4 days. Guess what? I was sick for the next 3 or 4 days. But that kind of chronic autoimmune disease has a very much of a triggering response to stress. So when I was feeling stress in my life, it would become worse for me. Now, and what I'm talking about here does not necessarily apply to everybody, because everyone is unique in their own individuality. So please don't hear that I'm telling you that your pain is just in your mind. That's not what I'm saying at all. But there are some pains that we have, that we experience as we go through life, that we can lessen or make worse by the way we think about them. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, how we can actually begin to notice that when that's happening. Notice what we're doing, what's going on inside of us, what's happening within us that's bringing that about, and then what we can do to shift that around. So as I said, I've been reading the work of John Sarno, and also in conjunction with that, I've been reading the work of Dr. Jon Kabat-Zinn, who does mindfulness-based stress reduction, which he's been doing that for about 40 years now. There's a clinic in Massachusetts University of Massachusetts Hospital, where they do a lot of the research there. They have broadened their research on stress reduction to pain reduction and using mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques to help combat chronic pain. And they've got documented phenomenal success with helping people relieve their own pain through using these techniques. And so we're going to go through a contemplation tonight, looking at our pain, looking at the techniques that go along with mindfulness-based stress reduction, looking at our pain, and seeing if we can apply those techniques to something that's actually happening in our bodies right now. Now, it doesn't have to be a severe pain. It can be any kind of a pain. You can have, all of a sudden I've got this dull, little achy headache behind my eyes or something like that. I can use the same technique as I would if I've been in bed for 3 days with a backache that doesn't want to leave. It doesn't matter the severity of the pain. We can use the same techniques to help us work through those things. And so the steps that go along with working with mindfulness-based stress reduction to manage our pain is the first thing we have to do is we have to acknowledge it. We have to admit that we have pain. How often do we try to push it away? I'm just going to ignore this. It'll go away. I'm not going to. I don't have. My favorite is, I don't have time for this right now. I don't have time to hurt. So I'm just not even going to deal with it. And when we're acknowledging it, we need to identify what kind of pain it really is. Is this a physical pain? Is this something that I've done? If I've twisted my ankle, broken my tooth, fallen down, whatever, is this something that I've been in an accident or whatever that's creating a physical pain in my body? Or is this a pain maybe in response to an emotion that I'm having? Maybe I'm really angry right now, and my body doesn't like when I get angry, and my consciousness doesn't want me to be angry. And so all of that's going to distract me with a little bit of a pain somewhere. I'm one that was historically in my life avoided anger like you wouldn't believe. Like if somebody was arguing in a room, I had to leave the room. I couldn't be around anger. And I remember sitting in a meditation, probably 15, 20 years now. And, I don't know if you've ever had a 2x4 moment, you know exactly what it is. You feel this physical jarring in your body when you have some kind of an aha, something that happens. And it honestly feels like I've been hit upside the head with a big stick. And I had this realization that I had spent all of my life eating my anger. I had never, ever dealt with my anger. So not only was I eating it, but I was now having experiences of morbid obesity and all of the associated pains that go along with that. Because I wasn't dealing with anger. I had to run away from it. And so when I started letting myself feel it, I could release it. And I could not let it get stuck in my body. So is the pain we're feeling attached to some kind of emotion? It may or may not be. Some of the other emotions that besides anger are grief. Oftentimes when we're experiencing grief, we get to a point where it's like, I can't do it anymore. And so our psyche will find something to distract us. And usually it's in the form of a physical body pain. Sometimes loneliness or anxiety or depression. These are also things that often trigger physical pain for us. Is it a spiritual pain? Am I feeling disconnected? Maybe disconnected from my community. I don't have enough people that I'm associating with. Maybe I'm feeling disconnected from spirit. Am I feeling that? And that's triggering something inside my body. So acknowledging our pain is really important and kind of figuring out what's the nature of it. Without going into a deep dive over analyzing why am I doing this and how did I create this and all that other stuff. That's not what we're doing. It's acknowledging it and trying to get a little clear about what's the source of it. And then we work on experiencing the pain. Just actually being with the pain. Because again, when we try to push things away, that old saying, what we resist persists. So we try to push it away. We try to get it out of our experience. And sometimes it just becomes even more. And so, we can do things like, have a conversation with our pain. I love doing dialogue journaling, where I'm having a conversation with it. So if I got a backache, I say, okay, back, what's the nature of this? And then my back will say, well, you've been working too hard lately. And I'll respond, well, I have things I've got to get done. Yes, but you're ignoring your body. And so it starts to have this conversation back and forth with that part of my body. And my experience of that is 3 or 4 minutes of it, and I got a pretty good answer about what's going on there with my body. So it's really good to have that conversation. Talk to your pain even. Okay, I see you. I feel you. I know that there's a need here. I'm listening. Tell me what I need to know. Have a conversation with the pain. Actually talk to it. It's almost like we're cultivating a relationship with it. And sometimes that might sound like, I don't want a relationship with my pain. I want it gone. But again, it's that whole okay, we need to acknowledge this part of us. We need to acknowledge this aspect of us. So, using something like I said, having this conversation or just simple phrases, there's a gentleness about that. I see you. I hear you. I accept you. I understand that you need something. I'm listening. If we have that conversation with our pain, we're being very kind to ourselves. And it gives that pain a place to be without being shoved down. The next thing we want to do is look at our strengths. Look at what we have within us, all the reserves that we have within us to manage this stuff. We have not yet been brought down by our pain. Every one of us is sitting here, so we're all experiencing that. It hasn't taken us over yet. But oftentimes when we have that chronic pain, there's a feeling like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how long I can go on with this. I don't know how bad is this going to get? And we start to build an anxiety inside of ourselves that is like, it's almost like catastrophizing it without going to that horrible end, but it's like, how bad is this going to get? And then we get into that future mode where we're totally out of the present, where we're like trying to predict what's going to happen. So, recognize our own strength. Recognize that no matter what we're presented with, we can move through there. And be gentle with ourselves and give ourselves the opportunity to rest when we need to. Because as I said, pain often leads to fatigue. And, look at that. Look at what we have within us, all of our reserves within us to handle this. Find reasons to celebrate the strength that you have. At the end of the day, look at that, I made it through the day. You wake up in the morning. Thank you. It's another beautiful day. I'm going to get through this day too. So look at those ways that we can celebrate what we are doing each day. Find the little things that we can do and celebrate that. I got up and fixed breakfast this morning. Look at that. What a wonderful thing. I was able to fold the laundry today. Yesterday I couldn't. Today I could fold the laundry. Look at that. Celebrate those small wins when we have them. And just keep telling yourself, I am strong, I am resilient, I am enough, and this too will pass. So that we don't have to deal with that. And then we need to look at the things in our lives that are stressing us out and find ways to reduce the stress. Again, stress is kind of one of those things where we have to get to the root of it. So what's causing my stress? Is it my job? Is it a relationship? Is it money? Is it my health? Is it this physical challenge I'm having? Is it unresolved issues like anger? Am I afraid of something? What's causing the stress in my life? And then look at the ways that we can go about reducing that. Again, mindfulness-based stress reduction is a powerful way of moving through that. There are thousands of videos on YouTube about doing mindfulness-based stress reduction, and most hospitals have classes on it. We don't offer it here because nobody here is a trained facilitator of it, and you have to go through their training program to do that. I've taken mindfulness-based stress reduction classes, but I have not taken all the way through their whole training program. But very powerful. So if you find a trained facilitator and take the classes for that, or like I said, check out some of the books and videos on there. So they're really good. But find them ways to reduce the stress in your life. The fifth step is to make yourself feel safe and okay when you're in pain. Whatever you have to do. Oftentimes it's finding a place to be quiet. Finding a place. I have a wonderful recliner, and when I'm in pain, I'm in my recliner. Generally with a heating pad, because I like that warmth. And it makes me feel comforted, and it makes me feel safe and secure. And it feels like it's a very nurturing thing that I'm doing for myself, the warmth and the heat. And a good cup of tea goes a long way. So, but find those things that make you feel safe, that okay, I'm doing what I need to do right now to move through what this experience is right now, and I'm okay, and everything will be all right with it. But when we worry, when we feel like we're not safe, when we worry and how bad is this going to get, then we actually increase the feeling of it. So again, just look at that ways that we do that. Some other things that are really some of my favorite is I have lots of really nice candles and oils, because I'm very much of a olfactory kind of person. I love the smells. And so my house smells like a spa most of the time. A lot of eucalyptus and sage and lavender and peppermint. I love peppermint. So have those things that I walk in and I go, I'm home and it's relaxing and I'm safe. And so have those things around to help you. A friend gave me not too long ago this wonderful thing that combined my heat and my oil. And it's some kind of a little bag filled with some kind of little beads and essential oils and herbs. And you throw it in the microwave for 90 seconds and then put it on your place that hurts. I'm in heaven. Between the smell and the warmth, I'm in heaven. So finding those things that work to give you comfort in that moment. Giving yourself a little extra love. And you can do that in all these ways that I've talked about so far. Finding your most favorite things. My puppies laying on top of my chest remind me that I'm loved, until they start fighting with each other, and then it's a whole different thing. But I certainly am loved because they want to be right there. But yeah, but also saying to myself, you know what? I'm loved. I am doing absolute best I can in this moment. I am safe. I am well. I am whole. I am loved. Just being gentle with ourselves is so important. And the last thing we can do is to stop and purposefully think positive thoughts. Sometimes it's for me, sometimes it's been like I feel like I have to force myself to think about the positive things. And honestly, I am, because it's so easy for our minds to go into the negative. So easy for us to hit that track. So actually reshifting that and coming up to the positive things takes a little bit of effort. But again, having some of those mantras that you can say easily, little affirmations, I am loved, I am well, I am taking care of myself, talking to our bodies, I hear you, I see you, I feel you, I'm holding you in my heart, I know that all is well, reminding ourselves the positive things, I trust in my body. Look at this miraculous vehicle that I've been given to move about in this world. It is resilient. It is miraculous. Yes, it feels things, but look at how well it can move through things too. Think of the wonder of our bodies. If nothing else, make a list of all of the things that, like We have, I don't know, 232 bones, I believe. God only knows how many muscles, 7 trillion neurons. The skin is the largest organ in our body. How well do you take care of your skin? Do you give it a little extra care and love? That can be very soothing for us. So finding those ways that we can remind ourselves in a positive way of the miracle of our bodies can really begin to help us move through that. So what I'm going to do now is take us through a mindfulness-based stress reduction meditation to move through some of that pain that you might be feeling right now. If you're not feeling any pain right now, just think about some area of your body that may be drawing your attention to it. Like maybe it doesn't really hurt, but it's a little stiff or achy, or something's going on there, or maybe it was hurting last night, or whatever works for you there. We're going to go through this. And just a reminder about mindfulness, it's about being fully present, staying in the moment, accepting what is without judging it. So anything that comes up, if you have to say anything to it, you might say, well, isn't that interesting? Look at that. Without saying, oh my God, here we go again. Because we do that. Our minds do that. Well, my mind does that. I'm assuming everybody else's does too. But just take ourselves through that place of being present with whatever's coming up. If there is an emotion coming up, be present with the emotion. If there is a sensation coming up, be present with that. If a part of your body wants your attention, give it some attention without judging it. That's the key point, that equanimity, staying in perfect balance with it. All right, so Kyle's going to give us a little music and a little mood lighting, and we will simply go within. So first thing I'd like you to do is just feel yourself in the chair. And just feel the pressure of the chair against your body. And if you're comfortable with it, just go ahead and close your eyes. Kyle, can you take the music down a bit? Thank you. And just notice your breath. Don't worry about changing it or forcing it or anything else. Just notice it. You might notice where it comes into your body, around your nose, or if you're breathing through your mouth. And notice it moving into your lungs. Notice what happens to your torso as you breathe in and breathe out. And just check in with your body. Make sure that you're not tense anywhere, that your shoulders are dropped down, that your arms, your hands are lying loosely on your lap. But make sure that you're sitting rather erect. You don't want to be slouched over and your head dropping forward and cutting off your air or any of that stuff. And just starting at the top of your head, let's just do a gentle body scan. Starting with your scalp, just move your awareness down through your body. And if any area of your body catches your attention, just spend a moment there. See what's happening. And acknowledge it. Simply tell that area, I hear you, I see you, I feel you. And I love you. And just continue to scan your body. We'll take a few moments to do this, so don't rush. If you feel the need to breathe deeper, just let your body go with that. Sometimes that's signaling a bit of a release. Make sure to check in with your arms and your hands, and your legs and your feet. Just remember to tell all those areas, I see you, I feel you, I love you. So if you haven't yet reached the bottom of your feet with your scan, just continue moving your awareness on down. If you've already reached the bottom, you might just check in on some of those areas that called to you before. Notice how they are now. We'll take one more minute with our scan. So now I want you to bring your awareness to your torso. From where your body touches the chair, the base of your spine, all the way up to the top of your chest, where your shoulders and neck are. This area is the center of our emotions, with the 3 chakras there, the sacral chakra with passion and creativity, and all of the reproductive organs and elimination organs, and the solar plexus chakra with the digestive, seat of power. And then the heart chakra, or our heartbeat and our breathing, and the flow in and out of our body takes place. All that circulation driven by these two main organs. This is where our emotions are most active. Sometimes when we feel fear, we feel it in our gut. When we feel anger, we get riled up in our chest. When we get stressed out, we can wind up having adverse effects with our bodily functions. So as you keep your attention in there, notice what emotions are coming up for you. If it is fear, spend some time dialoguing in your mind with that fear. Ask it what it's afraid of. Ask it why it thinks whatever this thing is going to be dangerous. Ask it what it needs from you to not be afraid. If it's anger, look at who or what has gotten you worked up and riled up and mad about this situation. If it's anxiety, what's going on with you inside to make you feel this way? Spend a moment or two identifying whatever emotions are coming up for you as you dwell in your torso. Remember to acknowledge the emotion. Ask it what it needs. And remind it that you are here to support and love it through the whole process. And now return your awareness to any of those areas of your body that might be experiencing what you think of as pain. It doesn't have to be a big pain. It doesn't have to be a lasting pain. And now ask that emotion that you were feeling in your torso. Ask it if it's part of this pain. Listen for your answer and accept it as it is. For it may or may not be part of the pain you're experiencing. And now thank that emotion and thank that pain for being in conversation with you. Thank it for any insight that you received. And if you didn't receive any, just thank it for participating tonight with you. And so now let's just take in a couple of nice deep breaths, whatever way works for you. Just to remind yourself of where you are right now. Breathing into the space, to the time. And once again, notice the chair beneath you and the people around you. And just one more time in your mind, tell your body, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I love you. And when you're ready, just go ahead and start to gently move. Wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your neck. And when you're comfortable enough, just go ahead and open your eyes. All right. You bring the lights back up, Kyle, please. Gently. There we go. All right. Did anything come up for anyone that wants to be shared tonight? You have a mic behind you, by the way. Yeah. Well, it's okay if it didn't. I just.
There's one thing I will share. I felt a tremendous heat going through my body.
Wonderful.
And it started not quite at the beginning, but a little bit, and it stayed till the last moment. It was a wonderful heat flowing through every part of my body.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Something brand new came up. A little bit of back pain and trying to relax and say, okay, why are you tense like this? And anxiety came up. And then I said, all right, I went even more deeper with why are you anxious? And of course, I have lots of things to be anxious, but it's like, okay, let's go down. And I came to a core emotion I was not expecting. It had more to do with self-esteem. I'm going to need to spend some time on that one because that was a total brand new, 2x4 thing. That was
right.
like, I never associated those two things before.
Thank you. Great insight. Anything else? Well, for me, I was I love the talking to my body part of it. Just reminding my body that, you know what, it's all right. At every moment, my body's doing the best it can, and I have the opportunity at every moment to be a little kinder to it, a little more gentle, a little more accepting of it. And so for me, that's what came through for that. Did anybody find any lessening of any pain or anything at this time? It's okay if you didn't. That's not a. But sometimes when just that whole.
I was in a lot of pain. I am in a lot of pain, and it was one of those that there's no reason for it, except that maybe fibromyalgia. And I never really completely accepted fibromyalgia,
Right.
but I've been told over years ago that I had that. But while I was sitting here, I was just completely relaxed listening to you. I think I might have gone to sleep a couple times.
It's okay. Somebody once told me that sleeping was the perfect meditation.
Oh, okay. And then, I don't know, a lot of my pain, I just have funny pain. It just sometimes, almost always there is some pain someplace. And now that I'm doing, what is it called? The therapy.
Physical therapy.
Oh, the physical therapy that I'm doing. Oh, I forgot.
That's okay.
Anyway, I'm doing physical therapy, so I hurt more.
Yeah, that's that is one thing about moving. Oftentimes we hurt more right when we started.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how much when I was doing some rereading of things that they talk about how important it is to move a little bit every day. And I'm one that has a tendency to forget about that. I like to be working at my desk, and I'm so engaged in that. And, the pups have helped with that a lot because they have to go out. So, it gets me up, and we walk around the yard and visit all the trees and play out there and all that stuff. So that's helped me a lot. But movement is so important. And as you said so beautifully, Louise, sometimes when we're moving, it hurts a little bit at first, especially, we have to work through some of that stuff to get it going. But again, being gentle with ourselves. Okay, I'm going to take this one step today. If I can make 2 steps tomorrow, great. But I'm going to do 1 step today. So, the one thing about the pain and as you're saying, when we're in the meditation, it's like it kind of disappears. And then, 15 minutes later, we get up and it's like, oh, wait a minute, it's back there again. Just like everything else, it's a practice. We just have to keep at it, keep practicing it. I will share this. As I said earlier, I was diagnosed with lupus at 29. And I was at the rheumatologist 2 months ago, and they removed the lupus diagnosis from my files. So it's like, that's after gosh, 33 years of being diagnosed with it, it's gone. So there's no sign of it, and that, when I got that diagnosis back then, it was pretty much a life sentence with it. And so changing the way I thought about it. Stop claiming it, stop owning it, stop catastrophizing it, stop making it mine, and loving it a little bit too. Being gentle with myself really helped. So I really think there's a huge power in this kind of work, that we can actually begin to heal a lot of our conditions in our lives, and pain is one of those.
Yeah, Laura, I really agree with that. I several years ago, I thought I could maintain my yard by myself, and I was trimming a tree, and my ladder started falling over, and I had to jump. So I really injured the heel on my the foot that took the brunt of the force, and I had to have surgery on it, and months had passed, and I was recovering, and I was in a conversation with my sister on the phone, and she was asking me how it was, and well, it's doing pretty good, it's eased up, and she says, well, you're going to have pain in that all your life. And I said,
Or not.
and I said, well, I've got to go now. Goodbye.
Okay. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
cut that conversation
Yes,
really
short. Good for you. Yeah, we don't need those kind of people bringing that on to us. That's not done, would you, Judy?
Yeah, that was one of my questions. When you mentioned you would tell yourself, I'm going to have a flare-up.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with that? Because I have some of that with my back problems. Because as a vet tech, I was told the same thing. You're going to have back problems now with all the lifting and stuff we did with the animals. And they were saying, how do you deal with when those thoughts show up? Do you have any special techniques?
Well, the first thing I had to do was recognize that I was doing that. I had to actually get to a place where it's like, oh, look at this. I thought that, and now that's what I'm experiencing. I had to acknowledge that I was doing it. And then, kind of what I just said with Katie, I would say in my mind, that thought would go through, oh, I'm going to have a flare-up. I would say to myself, or not. Beginning to reprogram my thinking patterns. It's like, okay, that's one alternative to it, but I have another option here. I can change the way that I think about that. I can reprogram that neural pathway. It's like, okay, there is a second option here. Normally, always before it would go down this one path, but now I'm starting to shift it over and over and over. And the more I did that, I stopped associating that trigger of the flare-up. I stopped associating it with, the getting sick. And so it began to shift that neural pathway in my mind. And I use words like that a lot. I talk to myself. So, it's like unfortunately for that, sometimes those words come out and that was my public voice, not my quiet voice. So sometimes those words come out when I shouldn't be saying that to somebody else. But that's what I would do to myself. It's like, or not. It doesn't have to be that way. We are self-fulfilling prophecies do not have to be fulfilled. So if I'm saying that I'm going to be doing this, then okay, that's one option, but I have another one over here, and I'm going to choose to go that one today. It was a process. I mean, it was probably 2005 when I started, and so now I'm free of the condition. So it was a process to get through it. Anyway. Well, thank you all for being here and playing with us tonight. We are so thrilled to have this group of people. I know it's been really well received online too, this kind of a panel discussion after our spiritual practices that we do. Next week is a labyrinth walk. It is, since we're just getting past spring, although we did the spring equinox one, it's a labyrinth walk about new beginnings. I won't be here, but practitioner Kelly Capsar, who is a phenomenal labyrinth walker, will be here to guide you through it. It's on new beginnings. And so at 7 o'clock next Wednesday night, here in our beautiful Vision Labyrinth, we will be doing our labyrinth walk. For those of you that are joining us online, you might want to consider coming in and walking with us. If not, find a finger labyrinth online and use your finger and walk the path during our meditation with us. It really can be almost as powerful to walk it with your finger as it is to walk it with your feet. So find that for yourself, and hope to see you all next week. You all have a great night, and those of you that are here, we have cookies, and I brought donuts. If you like those, there's some really good Easter candy kind of things out there, and decaf coffee and hot water. So stay and have a little fellowship with us if you'd like. I believe we're pretty much. Are we done, Kyle?